young woman was serving a life sentence in prison for murder. Despite the apparent hopelessness of her situation, she decided that she wouldn't spend her entire life behind bars and began devising a plan to escape. To start, she befriended one of the prison guards. His duty was to bury deceased inmates in the cemetery located nearby. When a prisoner passed away, this guard would ring a bell to inform all inmates in the prison of the death. He would then place the body in a coffin, fill out the necessary paperwork in the prison office, and transport the coffin in his car to the cemetery for burial. Upon learning this, the woman devised a clever escape plan and shared it with her newfound friend. The next time the bell rang, she would quickly sneak into the room where the coffins were stored, climb into a coffin with a corpse when the guard was occupied with paperwork in the office. Once he returned, he would transport the coffin beyond the prison walls, burying it in the cemetery. The woman knew that in the spacious coffin, there would be enough air for her to wait until that evening when, under the cover of darkness, the guard would return to the cemetery to exhume the coffin and set her free. The guard initially hesitated, but the woman was persistent, and eventually he agreed to go along with the plan. She had to wait for several weeks for a fellow inmate's death. Finally, one day after lunch, she heard the bell ring. Waiting for a while, the woman headed to the dark room where the coffins were stored. Trying not to make any noise, she approached the coffin containing the lifeless body, climbed in, and closed the lid. Soon, she heard footsteps. The sound of a hammer driving nails into the coffin lid followed. Although the woman felt extremely uncomfortable in the coffin next to the dead body, she understood that with each nail, she was one step closer to freedom, and she was willing to endure it for that. The coffin was loaded onto a hearse and transported to the cemetery. She nervously felt the coffin being lowered into the ground, but remained silent even as clumps of soil began to fall on the lid. Now, her freedom was only a matter of time. After a while, the woman grew impatient, lying in the darkness and silence. She decided to strike a match she had brought with her. Only for a moment, she couldn't waste precious air to see who among the inmates had died. Flicking the match, she brought it close to the face of the corpse. Next to her lay her fellow prison guard and friend.